a story of love, loss, and quiet victory. In the heat of a southern summer in 2004, beneath the sweltering haze of downtown Jackson, Mississippi, Ava met Marcus. She was 26, working overnight as a nurse aide at Memorial General. The job was hard, feeding, bathing, comforting patients most people had forgotten. But Ava found purpose in it. Her paychecks barely stretched far enough to cover her one-bedroom apartment and her younger brother's college tuition, but there was a strange kind of dignity in showing up each day for people who needed her. Marcus was a security guard at a shipping lot by the old train yard. Tall, lean, always smiling despite the night shifts. He had dreams, talked about going back to school, owning something with his name on it one day, and moving his mother out of the housing projects. Ava liked that about him. He didn't have much, but he had ambition. And he wasn't afraid of work. Their romance wasn't the stuff of movies. Most evenings, Marcus brought her a grape soda and a pack of honey buns after her shift, and they'd sit on the concrete steps outside her place talking about everything and nothing. There were no candlelit dinners, no weekend getaways, just quiet understanding and shared struggle. But Ava didn't mind. For the first time, someone saw her beyond the uniform and the exhaustion. She let him move in after 6 months. He cooked breakfast when she came home from double shifts and made her laugh when the world felt too heavy. That was enough. The years that followed tested them. Marcus lost his job at the yard, bounced from temp work to warehouse gigs. Ava took more shifts, sometimes worked 18 hours straight. When Marcus said he wanted to go back to school, she didn't blink. Just took out a loan in her name to cover tuition and books. When his teenage son from another relationship came to stay, she made space. When his mother lost her job and moved in, just for a few weeks, that stretched into 11 months, Ava adjusted. She never asked for thanks. She sold the tiny lot of land her father left her to pay off Marcus's credit card debt, and bought him a used Honda so he wouldn't have to take the bus across town. On weekends, she braided hair from her living room. On Sundays, she cleaned offices uptown. Whatever it took, Ava did it. In 2008, they got married. Nothing fancy. Just a quick ceremony at the county courthouse. No flowers, no photographers. Just Ava's brother, Marcus's mom, and 2 friends. The judge asked if they wanted to sign a prenup. Ava hesitated. She loved Marcus, but she'd seen what money could do to people. They scribbled out a simple agreement. If Marcus ever came into any major money during the marriage, lottery, inheritance, settlement, Ava would receive it all in the event of a divorce. No loopholes. No debate. Marcus laughed when he signed it. "You know I'd never leave you, right?" he said, kissing her forehead. Years passed. Marcus got a steady job managing a loading dock. Things looked up, though money was always tight. His son needed help with a car. His mother's health declined. Ava handled it all. Doctor's appointments, bills, support. By her early 40s, Ava was exhausted in her bones. She still loved Marcus. But sometimes, late at night, she caught herself wondering what life would have looked like if she had chosen herself more often. If she hadn't sacrificed every inch of her future for someone else's stability. Then, one summer evening, everything changed. Marcus came home waving a lottery ticket, yelling like he'd won a war. 10 million, Ava. Cash option, 8 million in hand. He danced around the kitchen while she stood frozen, disbelief turning to laughter, then tears. They went to claim the prize together. Held hands, took pictures, dreamed aloud. Ava wanted a small house outside town, maybe time to go back to school. Marcus talked about a new sports car, clearing his mom's debts, maybe a trip to the Bahamas. For the first time in her life, Ava let herself imagine something more. But Marcus changed almost overnight. His phone buzzed constantly. Old friends, long-lost cousins, women Ava had never heard of. He bought designer sneakers, flashy watches, hosted parties she wasn't invited to. She barely recognized the man she'd built a life with. When she asked about savings or paying off debts, Marcus snapped. "Let me live, Ava. Why do you always gotta kill the mood?" He stopped coming home some nights. And then one night he didn't come home at all. The next morning, Ava returned from a shift to find trash bags on the porch, her clothes stuffed inside. The locks had been changed. Marcus stood inside with a woman Ava didn't know, laughing. "You don't live here anymore," he said like it was nothing. "We're done. Papers are coming." Ava didn't scream. She didn't plead. She sat on the steps in silence while they laughed inside. The divorce papers came the next week. She was too ashamed to fight at first. But her brother reminded her. "You remember that prenup?" She dug through her belongings and found it. A simple 2-page contract, written in pen, signed and notarized at the gas station down the road. It was still valid. Still binding. If Marcus had money and divorced her, every cent legally belonged to Ava. She found a lawyer who agreed to take the case on contingency. After reading the document, he said, "He doesn't have a leg to stand on." The legal battle didn't last long. Marcus tried to argue, to intimidate. But the court didn't care. A deal was a deal. And the judge ordered that the full $8 million be transferred to Ava. When the money finally hit her account, Ava sat on a borrowed bed in her cousin's house and stared at the screen. She didn't feel triumphant. Just quiet relief. She didn't post about it. Didn't throw parties. She didn't even tell her brother right away. She bought a small home near the coast, outside Savannah. Started growing tomatoes, collards, and peppers in the backyard. Paid off every loan, every friend she'd borrowed from. Quietly, gratefully. She didn't buy new clothes or go on vacations. She still shopped at discount stores. Still slipped cash into the donation box at the old hospital chapel. She wanted peace, not attention. Meanwhile, Marcus's life fell apart. His new girlfriend left when the money ran out. The car got repossessed. Friends stopped answering. The house went into foreclosure. He moved back in with his mother, who barely spoke to him. A neighbor called Ava once, just to tell her. "He ain't got nothin' left. All that money, and nothing to show for it." Ava just listened, then hung up. She never gloated. Never sought revenge. Some mornings, she'd sit by the window with coffee, looking out at her little garden. The soil smelled like freedom. The silence in her house was peaceful, not lonely. For the first time in her life, Ava didn't owe anyone anything. She had lost almost everything. But she walked away with her dignity, and $8 million. And that was enough.